welcome to the Spirit on Tap podcast. My name is Anna and I am the DM for this campaign. So I would firstly like to welcome our players. We'll start with Helen this week.
Oh, hello, I am Helen. I play Atonement from Sin, the party's tiefling cleric.
And we have ERIK.
Hi, I'm ERIK. I play Bora the Foreigner, the party's White Tiger Leonin fighter.
And we have GINNY.
Hello, I am GINNY, and I play Ka, the Circle of Stars Ganassi Druid.
So previously on Spirit on Tap, the party had finished regrouping, they had eaten, they had a long rest, also leveled up, because I forgot to tell them a few sessions ago, and they arranged for some accommodation in the port through some of Almuk's contacts while they continued with Bora's mission. So they scoped out this apartment that they are now residing in, and they've established that it's safe, dry, and no hidden traps. And now they are on their way to go meet up with Chul, but we finished the last session with Ka and Atonement being spotted by a gecko dragonborn who was just staring at them before mysteriously disappearing. So, you guys are currently on the bridge that connects the port district to the port district. You have just, this gecko dragonborn has just disappeared. And it's quite busy again, as it has been for the last couple in-game days. It's kind of humid, but the air is a little bit fresher. The monsoon has passed, but now it's getting to that point where the heat is making all the dampness off the floor rise into the air. And you're starting to catch those smells from the poor district, but it's not as bad as it has been. It's quite busy with people going backwards and forwards from the poor district to the docks. And yeah, what would you guys like to do?
I wonder who that was.
Yes, did you know them? I mean, they seem to be staring. I wasn't sure if...
Well, maybe they're looking at our famous friend over here. And Ka just looks at Bora.
If you want to, I'm happy for you to just roll a retroactive, perception check to see who the gecko might have been looking at.
That is a natural one.
Oh.
we're all pretty
Does the gecko
interesting.
have eyes?
I mean,
We don't know.
I'm sure they couldn't see anything. Like there was a tongue there, in front of the eye. It's really difficult to tell.
Just the slow, slapping of the eyeball with the tongue. It's coming down like geckos do.
That is not the kind of ASMR I like.
Sorry, I love it when geckos do that.
Wait, is this a gecko or chameleon?
It was a gecko dragonborn.
Okay, cool.
Helen, are you gonna roll just to see, or are you just gonna be like, yep, no one
I
knows?
mean, I don't really think she would have cared, to be honest. I think she would just presumed it was looking at Ka. Because why wouldn't it be?
Alright, cool. So, you guys are kind of being jostled. I'm assuming you guys are slowly making your way through. I will say, those of you with higher perceptions, which I think is Ka and Atonement, you do notice that the streets are
Sorry,
a little bit clean. The streets are a little bit cleaner. You can kind of... Last time you were in the poor district, you couldn't see the cobbles and the stones on the floor, but now you can. But you do notice that the waterways are a lot muckier than they have been. So the monsoon has basically just flushed all the crap out of the poor district and into the rivers.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Above table, I mean, I think that I would like to just say that I am actually fairly impressed by the hydrological engineering that allows that to happen in the Port District. Excellent water table engineering.
I think it'd be funnier if Ka were saying that in character, and we're just like, what are you talking about? Okay.
I mean, there's only the edges at the moment.
It's like, Anyway.
Yeah. So, as you do come through, it is middle of the day. I can't remember exactly what time of day it had been last time you came through, but the streets are noticeably quieter than they were last time you came through. And it is safe to assume that it's probably because people are like their workplaces, they're in the fields, that kind of thing. But you do still get the odd child who is tugging at your like sleeve or your shirt, trying to sell you something. And as you weave your way towards the Aromatic Tiger, you do see a few people standing in doorways or like sitting on their porches trying to sell you something, or they're not actively sitting on their porches kind of with a few little wares and stuff, and you can kind of smell weaving through the poor district the smell of rice cooking. Is there anything you guys want to do before you arrive at the Aromatic Tiger?
I think Bora would just be continuing to like push through crowds and whatever. Just not having it, just like has a mission.
Yeah, I think Atonement from Sin doesn't really want or care about any of the stuff they're selling. I think she just wants to kind of get to where they need to go.
As you guys do,
Ka is curious about the things that are being sold, but is also following the lead of the other two and not actually buying anything.
Most of what you can see, just without too much of like without you having to roll anything, it does look like there are a lot of like homemade wares, like a few woven baskets and things like this. Somewhat looks like baked mud sort of pottery or kitchenware. And some you go like some children, they've it's almost like they've collected beads and little stones and things. They've created small pieces of jewelry. So that's just just by looking around. Nothing here looks like it's of any value as you're walking through all these narrow streets. And it literally just looks like they've tried to make things with whatever they have been able to find. Hence a lot of like wood or mud-based or like plant-based products. As you do wander through, though, you are starting to get you do notice a few people glancing your way. Mostly they are looking towards Bora and Atonement. It's not like malicious or anything, it's just more like curiosity. Although I will say, I can't remember who's got the highest of the... Actually, I'll say both of you, Atonement and Ka, you do notice a couple of kids looking at Bora, like they seem to recognize him and they're like whispering excitedly.
Oh, Jesus.
Shouldn't have put this in your backstory, Bora.
Bora's friends with all the children.
Yeah, I must be like they're like a superhero to them. It's like, oh, he's the guy who punches people.
Aww.
Pretty much. So, as you make your way to the Aromatic Tiger, here the drainage of all the like monsoon rain hasn't really cleared the area quite as much. It's a little bit slushier here than it was, but there has been an element of like the area is a little bit cleaner. Some of it has been washed away, but not everything. So as it is a bit quieter, there are a few people standing around the well in the middle of this little courtyard. If you remember, the Aromatic Tiger is set in a bit of a courtyard with a well in the middle, and it basically is just sort of kind of a ramshackle building where it could have been. It looks like a lot of the homes and the buildings that you have been walking past, except they've removed a number of the front walls, so it's basically you can just walk straight into the building. And there's a number of sort of stools and small barbecue setups around, and people walking backwards and forwards towards the back of this room of the Aromatic Tiger, where there's a small table where someone is selling like some drinks and some food, and there are a few people here being social. You recognize Chul immediately sitting with quite a large male Goliath, and they seem to be quite heavily in talks with each other. You see a goblin at the back who's the one that took the rust monster off you last time. and it just seems to be kind of getting ready to serve some sort of food, although you can't see right now what they're trying to serve. And you do notice that there is also a female half orc kind of sitting by the well, who is playing a wooden flute, flute made of bamboo, and it's just like kind of playing a few notes, almost like, you know, when a musician hasn't seems like they haven't played their instrument for a while and is just like messing around, not actually playing anything. It's like just trying to get back into the habit. It's got that sort of quality to what she's trying to do and what she's playing. And there are a few people who are looking towards you, mostly children in this area. You guys notice there's more children here than adults, and a few of them like bow their heads in recognition or like smile at you guys nervously, and it just seems like they recognize you from the day before when you bought, was it day before? When you bought the rust monster over.
Kai's just going to be a step behind Bora and just kind of look at him expectantly, like, this is... You're the one with the connections here.
That's putting it real, like, high up on my character. But I guess Bora's gonna catch that look and just go, okay, fine. And just, like, walk up and, I guess he would give, like, a nod of the head to Mr. Chul and just kind of wait for him to either be signaled over or for, like, there to be a break in the conversation with him and Goliath.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you just real quick. Just roll, I guess, a persuasion check for me.
I thought we were gonna have to roll an ambulance check.
Oh yeah, sorry.
13.
Alright, cool. You try and get Chul's attention, but Chul is kind of sitting and he's continuing to talk to this Goliath. But as you're trying to get his attention, you do notice that the Goliath fixes his eyes on you. And this Goliath, he is he looks kind of like he's too small. He's too big to sit at this, like, barbecue and stool setup. It's very much like if you put an adult into a children's chair kind of situation. And he has a shaved head, and you can see he's got I think it's called the stick and poke tattoos, the ones where you tap the tattoos in. And you can see that he's got sort of almost like a shark tooth style design going down, following the sides of his head and just over the temples. And he's wearing a very simple style set of robes that just kind of fold over the front and just plain pants. He's got no sleeves on his robes, and you can see these tattoos are kind of like following the shape of his biceps and the muscles in his upper arms. And as you're trying to get his attention, he just fixes you with just this unblinking gaze before he kind of points towards you and mutters something to Chul. And you see Chul turning around and sort of giving you a bit of a knowing smirk and holds his hand up to get the attention of someone and points to you guys. And you see there's a young tiefling female who's been helping out, wandering around with like a couple bottles and some glasses. She comes over with a clay bottle and a few small clay glasses, and puts them down on a table nearby to Chul and kind of indicates for you all to sit.
Have I fought this Goliath in the pits before?
Roll a luck check.
That's an 8.
No, you've never fought him before.
Okay, would a natural 20 have been like, yeah, you knocked the hell out of him? It's like,
yeah, why not? But with an 8, no, you've never fought him before.
I'm hoping a natural one was, yes, you have fought him, but he beat your ass.
Okay, so as the this tiefling kind of indicates for you to sit down, she returns to Chul, and as you guys may or may not remember, Chul is a kind of, I would say, like not like getting to middle-aged human male. He's got quite thick, messy black hair, and he's got kind of like a bit of a paunch and a bit of a serious face. And as he's sitting there and he's just kind of like watching what you do, he does kind of like reach down and like scratch just underneath his belly, not even trying to hide the fact that he's being disgusting. Not that scratching your belly is disgusting, but when you lean back and just scratch your belly in public, it's not the most pleasant thing to see.
Is he even wearing a shirt?
He is wearing a shirt, but it does
God.
kind of look like either it's an old shirt or it needs to be washed.
Gross.
So, Bora will look to atone from sin and Ka and just kind of give the nod of, well, I guess we're up now. And just go and... Chul isn't the type of man that deserves a bow, so he's just gonna go and sit at that table, uncomfortably, like, across from the Goliath.
Like, so the Goliath kind of like leans back, just like stares at you, and also he seems like a little bit bigger and a bit more intimidating than now that he's kind of up close. I kind of picture him to be a bit like The Rock, but a little bit bigger.
I mean, height to height, right? Like, what is the height of the Goliath? Is he like 7 feet tall?
He's like 7.5 feet.
Okay, so he's only got like maybe an inch or two on Bora, so it's not
Oh,
that
really?
intimidating. Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were like 6 foot.
No.
No,
Bora's like 7 foot.
Atone from sin is 6 foot.
Oh my god, you're all such tall people.
Is that 6 foot with the horns or without the horns?
The horns go outwards, they don't go up, thank you.
Okay.
So they do not affect, they affect her width, thank you, not her height. Trying
How
to put on
often
shirts is a
do you
nightmare.
have difficulty going through doorways?
Yes. I mean, I walked, that's how we met Bora, is Bora walked into me, and I like to think he just like walked into my horn. Just because it goes like so far outward.
Bora
Roll a
actually
limbo
poured
check.
stuff on your horns. It's like, ow.
We've got
Oh
someone
my
who's
God.
7.5 foot, and we've got someone who's about 7.5 foot wide, so it's okay.
Oh my god. That's terrible. But yes, with the Goliath leaning back, Chul sort of like, he crosses his arms and he sort of like lifts one of his ankles onto his knees and just kind of looks at you. I guess you're back for the other mission.
Well, yes. But I do have a. Well, tell me what you have in mind first, and then I'll tell you what I've heard rumors of that might be a little more lucrative than just a warehouse.
Well, there's a ship or a warehouse, or both really, in the agricultural district. The captain has something for me that is of great interest, that I need liberated from the ship it's currently being carried on. And in the process, if you happen to liberate the contents of the warehouse for the poor folk who live around here, there might be an extra incentive, financial incentive for you to do that too.
Is this like a trade barge, or is it a I don't know, just a small fishing ship? Like what kind of ship are you talking?
Roll a persuasion check.
Does I pick up a D12 instead?
Oh, I do that all the time.
That's a 12.
He kind of glances over to the Goliath, who kind of seems to sigh and goes, "It's a trade ship. It's just come in from Chul, and we need the object that belongs to the captain. One of our contacts over in Chul said that we could have it for a price. And now we are offering that to you. We will pay you good money to get this object off of the captain."
And what is this object in particular?
I'm not going to tell you until you accept Mr. Chul's offer here.
Okay. Well, as far as a potential counter to that, so as we were um, going about the town streets the other night, I ventured upon the wealthier part of the city, and we overheard rumors of great riches within the deeper jungle themselves. Supposedly, someone has discovered a temple of sorts that might be rooted to the very history of this. Would I describe it as a country or a continent?
Malang is kind of more like a country. So the way we haven't really explored this yet, really in game or in now session 0. The way I see it is like these cities, these large city-states, have essentially created small empires that are kind of a certain area of land around them. And you've got like lots of smaller towns and villages and islands who might be like allied with them, but they don't necessarily come under like that country. So, for example, Malang would probably own a good portion of the peninsula that it's on, and would or like claim to own it because a lot of it is quite heavy jungle outside of the main city itself, and
So,
they'll probably own a few of the nearer islands as well.
so
Maybe
referring to
region?
Malang as a
Region, yeah.
as an empire would be accurate.
You can, region or empire or something along those kind of lines.
Okay. Supposedly it has ties to the very founding of the empire, and might have some significant wealth or meaning to those that actually rule the empire. Potentially the ancient black dragons which have founded it. So I don't know if that would be of interest to you with that amount of potential wealth or overhead to the ruling class.
I feel like I need you to roll something for me for this bit, but I'm not sure what to make you roll.
You're probably either gonna make me roll a persuasion or deception. I'm gonna like roll a 5.
I'm just gonna make you roll a straight charisma check.
Oh no.
It's always my favorite sound from a player.
14.
You see, hang on a second. Chul sort of glances over at the Goliath, and the Goliath looks at Chul very briefly. And Chul kind of sits up a bit straighter. This might be information that I'm interested in. I guess. What would be your price for this information?
Well, if it's to unseat the current power within the Twilight Lotus, given how dangerous something this might be, I would settle for 50-50 if it meant prominence for someone such as myself.
So no payment up front, just whatever we find at the temple.
Well, yes, I mean, there's no use in having payment up front if we're gonna go there within the next day and we die. I don't want to swindle you out of anything, for sure. I don't want to rub someone like you with your ties to, let's say, unknown means the wrong way.
Chul just kind of stares at you. Kind of almost to the point where it starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Roll a persuasion check for me, please, with advantage.
17.
He kind of leans forward a little bit closer and leans on his legs a little bit. Well, in that case, if you want to explore the jungles, you'll have to give me a few days to get things ready. I'd be willing to take on that deal with you. I will unfortunately need to locate a guide and some supplies. Because, I have heard that a number of people have already gone to look for this place that you speak about. So, I will need to locate some people to help me.
Well,
In the meantime,
allow me to expedite that for you just a little bit. As far as needing a guide is concerned, these two who are with me, one is actually very familiar with the, I guess you'll call them ancient texts and ways, as he points to Atone from Sin. And the other is actually very adept in navigating the lands and stars themselves, and points to Ka. So I don't think you need to delve that many resources into it, so long as you cut them into the profit of this just the same.
very well. I still need some time to get a few bits together, find a guide for you, and have someone accompany you. I will not be going myself.
Well, I would never expect you to do your own dirty work.
In the meantime, as almost a upfront payment, as a gesture of good faith, I do need this thing from this ship, which you can probably do tonight. And then I will provide the supplies, the ship, the guide, and maybe a few extra hands if you need it. But I will also provide some help for this mission to the warehouse. Just to help you, I believe it is heavily guarded. Do we have a deal? Do this for me, and I will provide guides and supplies for you.
He looks to Atonement and to Ka, I guess, for like a look of affirmation, or at least a shrug of their shoulders.
I will, if you want to, you can go and have a discussion with them.
Okay.
Because I think they'll probably be just far away where they... I'm assuming you two are not, like, with him while he's having this discussion?
We are off to the side, but eavesdropping with our lovely high passive perceptions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think a time from Sim would definitely be like listening to their conversation, but also keeping an eye, not in like a suspicious way, just curious way, on the like, the musician, the half walk outside, just out of curiosity, see what they're doing.
Okay, I will say, because both of you have quite high passive perceptions, you're catching, like, I would say 90% of what's being said here. There is still quite a bit of noise in the area, and you can hear, like, screaming babies from somewhere up in one of the houses. There's people talking by the well, there's this, like, flute player. So, I'd say that without actively listening, you're catching about 90%. So you still get most of it. But, yeah. So Chul is like, well, think about it, discuss it with your friends. I will need to go and consult with someone quickly, make sure that we can get this ready for you, if you so agree. And if you decide whether to take this deal or not, let my friend here know. Let me get his name. If you let Gunan here know what your choice is, he'll find me. And he kind of picks up like a small glass, like downs whatever's left in it, and stands up, and then kind of walks away back into the Aromatic Tiger itself. And you see that he stops to chat to the goblin on the way, and kind of briefly glances back to Gunan the Goliath, and then disappears through a back door.
Before Bora gets up and talks to Atone from Sin and Ka, he's gonna look at Gunan and go, "Do I know you from somewhere, by the way?"
I don't know, do you?
I guess not. Good talk. And then he just goes out to Atone from Sin and Ka.
Wow. You gave up quick.
There's nothing to pursue there. It's not, I don't know, dude. It's like, okay, walk away. Here's this plot thread. Nah, I'm good. And he'll go out, go to speak with
right.
Atonement and Ka.
So while this is happening, I know you two were kind of like partially eavesdropping. Do you guys sit down at the table that the tiefling indicated to you? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you have been saying there, they have provided you with some warm teas as well as whatever's in this clay bottle, which if you wanted to sniff, you can tell there's alcohol in the clay bottle, but they've also provided you with some tea. And so you can have the option of whatever it is. And there's like a small barbecue kind of thing set into this table, and that is keeping the tea warm for you.
Cool.
And by this point as well, the half-orc has actually like properly kind of slowly started playing some really beautiful like wooden flute music that everyone is kind of like listening to.
I feel like Ka would kind of just be swaying along with the bee, just a little bit.
I can totally see that. Did you want to do either of you want to do anything else, or we'll just have Bora sitting down with you guys?
No, I think Thompson would just have some tea and just, yeah, as I said, like keep a general kind of eye out, you know, not stop listening too hard, but
Ka is going to eye the alcohol somewhat suspiciously because they don't know exactly if it's going to affect them differently now that things have happened. And then probably pour a small cup and take a few sips.
Yeah, so this is just what you sip is, it does taste like quite a cheap version of the local liquor that, like, every nation has this very, very cheap sort of liquor. Think of it almost like a soju or a cheap sake or a cheap vodka type thing. Like, in my experience, like, every country has got something like that from when I've traveled around the world. So I've decided to put it in this world too. And it's not great, but you've had worse. And if you want to see if it does actually affect you, you can roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Do I feel like my tolerance has changed?
That's what this Constitution.
That's a natural 20?
Natural 20. No. Like, you know, growing up, you probably, like, you would have been, like, people would have snuck alcohol and this kind of alcohol and stuff into, like, where you did your studies. And you remember kind of a couple of sips would have made you feel happy, kind of thing. But you have sort of like a similar amount and you don't feel anything.
Okay. This stuff is basically water, you might say.
Yeah. I will say with a natural 20, I will bestow upon you the gift of having advantage on all Constitution saving throws when it comes to getting drunk. Because I think it's hilarious.
Noted.
I mean, you can still get drunk, but you have advantage now.
Right.
So
I don't think that Ka would be the type to engage in drinking contests, but at least not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm so excited.
Oh god. So, Atonement isn't doing anything extra?
No, I don't think so.
No, she just yeah, just
okay.
Keeping an ear out.
So Bora will kind of, you know, meander on over to them, and just make note that like Ka is pounding back drinks but experiencing no side effects from them.
No,
so
we're just sipping.
Okay.
We're still on the first cup.
Okay. So I spoke to Mr. Chul about what we discussed, and he still wants us to do an additional job for him, which is something of a rating of a trade ship or so. So we still have to go through and do that. but he seems to be on board otherwise with investigating the rumors of that temple in the jungles. However, he seems hell-bent on having additional guides and his people as a part of it, so it's to be understood. But so long as we knock out this one job for him, he seems content with us going and investigating on our side, on our terms. We just have to give him, 50% of what we find that might be tied to what is in this empire.
So he gets 50, and each of us gets... Hang on. Math is hard. To be 1/6 each?
It's about 17% each.
Yeah.
So... wow, the train gone. God damn it. Bora, confused by math, loses everything he knows about them. He just, shuts down his,
I mean, if we're talking about, what we're going to be giving him, 50% to me is fine, as long as none of it is anything that I need in order to continue my mission.
I suppose we are going there for other reasons than personal wealth, so...
And he'll sheepishly look at the two of you and just look around and do air quotes and go 50%.
Oh yeah. Yes. Right.
So it's understood. With that said, I'll
Carl,
ask you.
You looked confused. Would you like to roll something?
Sure. What are air quotes?
Oh no! Oh no!
It's 18 plus something.
Are you trying to figure out what the air quotes mean? Or...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're just oh, I remember this from before. Yeah. This is sort of almost sarcasm or
Okay.
double speak.
Okay.
I really hope Ka doesn't say that out loud.
Yeah, well, I think with an 18,
With an
I think we're
18,
okay.
I think Carl would be subtly be oh yes.
Okay, just being
There-
sure.
There's a brief moment where the cause and then you see the realization dawn on their face.
Bora breathes the heaviest sigh of relief he's ever breathed in his life. So, if you two would accompany me to the other job for tonight, and that means that we could get ourselves settled and then, go on over to the temple later.
Well, I am a bit
As he
curious
kind of
about.
bites his tongue as he realizes he said the word temple.
I am also curious about the state of the waters, so I would appreciate that opportunity to learn a bit more.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I will just go wherever you say is the right place to go, as long as we
That is
eventually
that's
get to where we're meant to be going.
as long as you believe that we have the time. This is your time scale, after all.
I mean, of course, it would be better to go later than never. But if Bora is saying that is the fastest that we can do it, who am I to say that he's wrong? Sure.
Given what we're trying to do, my hands are kind of tied, but it means additional resources, potentially not dying immediately, that type of benefit.
I mean,
It's
yes.
all nice.
It is a path forward.
Yes, that would be nice
It's-
to not die immediately. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know if it's a path forward so much as it's just a path, but I understand what you're saying. Roll a check to see if you really do. So, if we're on agreement, then please come back in with me inside, and we need to speak to the Goliath Gunan and ask him for further details.
Speaking of which, I will say that Khan Atonement, you have noticed that this entire time the Goliath has just been sitting there arms crossed, watching you all.
Us two as well.
Yeah, just like your table.
Who is this Goliath? He seems to be a bit suspicious of us for some reason.
Good question. I don't know. I asked him if I knew him from his past or if he knew me, and he simply said, I don't know, do you? So I figured that was a point of saying no.
I feel like that wasn't the point of saying no. I feel like he was trying to start an argument and you just left it.
Well...
Do you want to roll a history check real quick, Bora, to see if you have actually met this guy before?
You know what? Sure. History, we said? That's
Yeah.
an 11.
Yeah, you're not sure still.
I'll be sure to more closely examine his face to see if there's any, like, claw marks on it. No, I still have no recollection. I'm sure if I'm, like, this racked about it, I probably saw him in the pits or fought against him myself. But, you know, I didn't exactly lose often, if at all, in the pits, so that might be a reason why. Anyway, shall we?
Can I roll an insight check on that to see if he's bullshitting about how many times he won in the
Yeah,
pits?
sure.
Hell yeah. What's my insight? Okay. No, okay. Not fantastic. 12.
Bora, can we just roll a luck or chance check at advantage, please?
At advantage.
Oh.
That's a nat 20.
Gonna
off the
really
bat.
want something to
fuck's
happen.
sake. God damn it! I wanted you to be lying to me.
Let me see what it was. On the advantage side of it, the other roll would have been a 6. So,
Oh, so close.
Yeah, he's from what you can tell with the like, he's telling the truth, and just having a quick glance at him, like, you can't see that much in the way of, like, missing fur or scars or anything that would indicate that he took, like, huge beatings or anything. So, yeah, you're pretty confident that he's telling the truth.
Fair enough.
That beautiful silky fur, has very few mats in it. Or
You do
disruptions of
notice,
flow.
like, a little bit of Denjang still, like, stuck. No.
Oh my god.
So
My
I
worst
think
fear.
you pressed a dissertation to his face, so it's all fine.
No, it's just pressed further in, so it's like now part of my skin.
That would not be nice. Just for reference now, if you're not sure 100% what doenjang is, it's kind of like a slightly richer tasting version of miso. And it got all over Bora.
Based upon an errant throw and an even worse dexterity check. and he's gonna look at Atonement for a moment. Go, are you doubting what I said, Atonement?
No, I was just... It seemed a bit... Not... boastful isn't the word. I was just curious.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say it was boastful. It was more for survival, but I understand. Anyway, shall we? And he just kind of unceremoniously gestures towards Gunan at this point.
Yeah, sure. Just
To go up. Are you guys going to Gunan?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So he's just watching you. Just not really moving.
Did he catch the air quotes thing?
I was facing away from him. That's why
You
I
rolled
did
a
that
3, so no.
Oh, thank God. There's like a natural 20 is like there's a mirror pointing directly towards where my hands are. It just like floats. That'd be
So you go over like, so you made a decision yet?
Yeah, so in the interest of getting our mission, I guess, funded and kicked off, we're gonna go ahead and accept the current job, which is for the trade barge, and just go for it.
You see, like, he smirks a bit. He's like, alright, stay here. I'll go let Master Olmok know. Fuck!
He hears all that and he calls like, let who know?
Wrong bad guy!
Nope, cannon. Done.
I'll
Wait, Almog bad guy? No, Almog good guy.
That would have been the best plot twist. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill Almond. We're like, you fucking what?
Now I know where I know you. He's one of the kitchen staff. It's actually Chunsoba with like a mask on.
He's one of the birds.
Oh,
Oh my god.
What you don't know is he's actually a druid.
This whole time.
Friend!
What a
he speaks in coos and like Ka just picks up like that familiar like voice.
Oh, okay. I'll let Mr. Chul know, and you will need some help for this particular one, so I'll go get the help as well. Sit down, help yourself to some food. I'll have it served to you. And get ready to head into the agricultural district. And he kind of gets up and makes his way towards the back of this building, through the door that Chul made his way through.
Is the Goliath is Gudon wearing any like clothes, or he's just shirtless?
No, he's wearing like a sleeveless tunic and pants.
Okay, are there any like I'm gonna do a quick perception check to see if like there's any scars or anything, just cause like I have the feeling that I thought
You are determined, aren't you?
Yeah. That's an 11.
He does have scars on him, but actually, just roll it at advantage, because you being like a fighter and stuff, you would know like what would have caused these scars and things.
Okay, so what am I rolling at advantage?
Investigation.
That's a 14.
So yeah, he does have scars on him, but it does mostly on his arms. It looks like potentially weapon scars, but you do see just coming just out. You can just peek like the back of where his sleeve should be, his sleeve holes, and kind of going onto his shoulders a little bit. You do see what could look like whip scars.
Okay.
But then nothing that would indicate that looks anything like your claws or something. But he does look like he has had a bit of a rough time, and he has seen his own share of fighting.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's gonna wander back towards the back of the Aromatic tiger. So you guys he told you to chill basically for a little bit. The flute music is still playing, kind of wafting on the breeze, and you can see like this half orc has now got a group of children sitting around her just listening to her perform.
Bora, do you have any idea who this this help will be?
Not a damn clue. I'll be honest. You know how it is. These type of folk. Wow, folk. He's really backwards now. These type of people, they don't really like to share their contacts unless you actively agree to whatever job it is. So whoever it is, I could have no idea.
While you guys are talking, the tiefling that showed you to your seat earlier puts down like a small bamboo basket of steam buns.
Nice.
Kai's going to
About to say,
take one and essentially
I was going to look at Carl first of all and be like, I know Carl will definitely want the first steam bun.
and just say, well, nothing to do but wait. He's going to take a steam bun and he's going to go like sit with the children kind of cross-legged in front of the flute player.
Aww.
Yeah, as you are sitting listening to the flute player, you do notice that she kind of like watches as you sit down, but then just kind of goes back to like closing her eyes and focusing.
Just vibing.
Just vibing. Smiling a little bit.
Okay.
You can sort of tell
So-
that Ka has like been waiting for the chance to do this. Like, that's just kind of. They know that this has been important, but now that there's nothing to do except wait for the person to come back, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go, like, sit. And
Ka is so wholesome and pure.
I love Car. If anything happens to Car, I'm gonna cry. I swear to God.
All right. So, is there anything that you other two would like to do? It's only like kind of like a 40-minute wait, 40 minutes to an hour. So it's time to just like sit and chat and have some food, listen to this music.
Yeah, I think after a while, I think Tame from Sin would have just, kind of relaxed, had some like steamed buns, and just kind of surveyed the place, but not not in a suspicious way. Just once again, just out of curiosity around the kind of people who are there. And then probably after about 20 minutes of sitting in the actual place itself, she would probably also go outside as well. And not sit as close as Car is, but probably just like kind of like stand around the edge and just enjoy the music.
Well,
that this
there are stools and stuff outside, like all like the tables and the barbecue things that he uses for the Aromatic Tiger. They kind of like spread out into the courtyard.
right,
a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So
She would have headed
sit
over
out.
there to like probably keep getting more steam buns because they sound really tasty.
Yeah, so this place looks a little bit less dismal than it did the day before, primarily because the rain has cleaned it up a little bit, and there's less people there too. But as Kai, you'll notice, like all of you will notice, just this in general, but this area doesn't look particularly stable. So kind of a very, very a strong typhoon or maybe a small earthquake or something could easily knock down a bunch of these houses. And they don't look particularly flame-proof either. And it's just one of those, like, it's almost like houses stacked on top of houses. And you've been walking through it and stuff. And this area is probably, this little courtyard comes to about 60 to 70 feet wide. And it's a bit of a weird, awkward shape. It's not like a square, it's not like a circle, but it's, some houses have like encroached on the courtyard and some houses are a little bit further away. And there's like lines across the whole thing with clothes hanging off it and stuff like that. So it's a very lived-in area, and there's mostly seems to be children here. And just from you guys picking up just random chatter, it's these are the children who are either too young to work or too weak to work, or parents are trying not to work. So it's kind of, and then you've got like a few of the adults here are kind of just like keeping tabs on these children while their families are at work, is essentially what's going on. It's kind of like a public kindergarten type thing. But no one's really learning anything because no one can really read. Yeah. And
I mean, they're learning plenty, it's just not,
not academic
Right.
learning.
Yes.
So as you guys are getting towards the end, Bora, did you want to do anything, sorry, in that like kind of 40 minutes ish?
No. He would just be waiting, and honestly, he'd probably not be eating because he is not about that right now.
Okay, so as you
Would
guys
would any of the children interact with Ka at all?
if you want to interact with the kids, then you're more than welcome to interact with the kids.
Ka will only interact with them if they come up to him.
I think what I'll say is if you are going to sit down with a few steam buns, a bunch of the kids do turn around and look at you. And, well, specifically, they look at the steam buns. And I will say, you guys do notice, even though Chul did feed a lot of people the day before, you do notice that no one in the courtyard really is approaching the Aromatic Tiger at all, really.
Wait, I don't. So if I don't to be able the day before.
So the day before, he
Right.
almost sort of like ran a soup kitchen type thing. So
Right.
they were serving food, but right now, it's almost like, I'll give you this without rolling because it is a little bit difficult to explain. I'm finding it struggling. So it's almost like they know they can't get food from the Aromatic Tiger unless they've set up this soup kitchen type thing. So when they're not doing the soup kitchen type thing, people seem to just be avoiding it. They'll
How
be
many-
like around it in the courtyard, but they're not like mingling with.
How many children are there, and how many steam buns do I have, and how well can the steam buns be split?
Are you making a steam bun to orphan ratio?
Yes.
Roll a d6, please, Car. That's how many steam buns you have.
3.
You have 3 steam buns and 15 children around you.
Quarters.
Fifths.
Fuck. Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Thinking is hard.
I was so confident.
This episode's title is Fun with Math.
Yay!
I was so confident that it was quarters. Nope, that's 12. I just can't count.
Well, I will do my best. I know that, like, steam buns aren't exact, like, they're not dumplings, but they're still not the easiest to,
Yeah,
separate. But I will do my best to, like,
size, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll do my best to, like, tear off little pieces and, like, hand them out to the
they
children.
grab them off you so quickly as you break them apart, start showing, like, sharing this food. So, like, a couple of them do sort of, like, give you a nod and, like, bow and thank you for it, but most of them just seem to be grabbing whatever you can get them.
And I'm just gonna, like, kind of continue swaying to the music.
Sure.
This time.
And then, as this time comes to an end, I will say, Atonement and Car, you do notice, while there have been people moving backwards and forwards in and out of this courtyard, you do notice a figure coming into the courtyard wearing a cloak. And as they are moving, you see the glint and glimmer of gold underneath this cape. And you see this this tiefling with this beautiful gold skin and white hair.
I wonder
Sort of.
who this could possibly be.
wonder.
It's
Shiny.
such a mystery.
They step into the courtyard. And we'll leave it there.
No, what the hell?
It's been an hour. So, I just love the guest doing a little dance.
Just give a quick dab.
I'm loving this energy.
So with that, we are gonna. I know. I got the description. I was like, yes. But with that, don't forget to follow us on social media on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. At Spirit on Tap D&D, and I'm going to change things up a little bit and ask if you are listening and if you're enjoying the podcast, please let us know by tagging us in things. I've been listening to lots of podcasts recently. I'm like, oh, I should probably do that too. So with that, thank you
Social
for
media.
I know, we've got to do the social media thing. So with that, thank you for listening to Spirit on Tap. You can find me on Twitter at AnnaS100. Helen, how and where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter as It's Songbird and Instagram as Songbird Cosplay. I nearly forgot.
And Ginny, where can we find you?
I'm on both Twitter and Instagram as at Ms. Ginny Liz, and I am on Twitch at Ginny Liz.
And Eric, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at Slippers Cosplay, and I am on Twitch at Sleipner, Sleiphnер.
You have a Twitch now.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
You have a
I think I
Twitch?
can run it.
We're all just like, excuse me, what?
This is information.
I mean,
I'll occasionally be streaming things.
oh, you're actually going to do streaming things?
Okay, with that,
Okay,
thank you
I
for
have to-
listening.
I don't think I follow you.
We're all gonna go stalk Eric on
Yeah, we are.
Twitch now.
Greetings, this is Atonement from Sin, the party's grave domain cleric, also known as Helen, one of the players on Spirit on Tap. Our D&D campaign is inspired by Asian religions, cultures, and regions. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Spirit on Tap D&D. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you soon.